Greetings everyone, I am Dr. Wolf, out here for another nature walk, and it's been several months since I last did another one of these financial advice videos, but the weather was rather nice today and I decided, I wanted to relate the story of the time that I lost $27,000. Yeah, this actually happened. It was a long time ago, but it gave me some pretty harsh lessons that I still hold very dear today. And in many ways, I'm kind of thankful for them. I'm kind of thankful that I had to go through that kind of deep struggle because it did help me to get where I am today. Although I'm sure that many of you are thinking right now that, yeah, you'd wish that people could go through life without ever having to learn the kind of lesson of losing $27,000. But I digress. Let me tell you, this was about 10 years ago, about a few years after I had graduated college, and I had spent the first little while paying off my student debts, making sure that I was completely debt-free, because that was important to me even way back then. And after that point, I had already started my career, and I wasn't entirely sure what to do with the money I was saving away. I wasn't living in my own place. I was with my parents at the time, giving them a little bit of rent, but wasn't really interested in buying my own house at that point, because home prices were skyrocketing way back then. But I was a single guy, not really interested in going on lavish vacations or buying expensive toys. So I just kept putting money away, saving for a future that I hoped eventually would come when I would be out on my own, get married, that kind of thing. But saving money away in a bank account, it kind of feels a bit wasteful at times when it doesn't feel like it's doing much of anything, especially when savings rates were kind of dismal. So back during my college education, I had taken a class on investment and learned a little bit here and there about the stock market. And I can already hear a few of you starting to connect the dots. But in the beginning, when I started investing in the stock market, just picking a few things here and there which I thought would be good for short-term buy and sell kind of things, I was actually doing pretty well. I would hold on to little investments for anywhere from a few weeks to even a few days, and I'd actually make a little bit of a profit. In a few cases, I'd make a surprising bit of profit. During my first year of just doing my own thing in the stock market, I made 40% return on my investments. And that got me super excited about keep doing it, keep doing more of it. I mean, what could go wrong, right? I thought I was making really good decisions. What else was I gonna do with my money, huh? This was all during 2007, 2008. And around September and October of 2008, there was a massive crash throughout the financial market. And while many factors are contributing to this, the biggest issue by far was the real estate bubble. And pretty much every market in the world was affected by this. Very few people saw this coming. Very few people were prepared for this. And right around that time, I had invested in a company which, according to their profit margins and according to their stock prices, actually looked really intriguing. Hey, this seems like another really good bet. Considering all the other good bets I've made in the past year or so, yeah, let's see where this goes. It took all of those 2 months, September and October, for the stock price to just plummet. I kept expecting it to recover. I kept expecting it to bounce back because, well, hey, the company is still doing well according to their profit earnings. I thought that this has got to be a temporary thing. I mean, the market itself is having a big issue everywhere, but the company itself seems to be doing pretty well for itself. It'll bounce back if I'm just patient with it. I found out later that the company came under investigation by the SEC for misrepresenting their earnings. So anyone who had invested in that company, it was based on a lie. And that was too bad. It was really too bad for me. Having been saving for years off of early parts of starting my career, hoping to one day get into a place of my own, get married, that really hit me hard. But considering that I was still so early in my career, early in life, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. It really wasn't. I still had my job. I still had a long future ahead of me. And like I said early on in this video, it taught me some very, very important lessons. As exciting as it was for me to play around in the stock market and doing so well for myself, and yes, I was making money during that first year, in the end it was shortcuts. It was a whole bunch of little shortcuts I was taking, all in the hopes of striking it big. And I've learned over the course of many years since then that there's a great deal of truth to that old argument of slow and steady wins the race. There are so many people out there who feel like they just need to wait for that one big opportunity to come along and solve so many of their problems. They just wait for that one chance. They can just seize the day. In my experiences, that only works for a very select few people, the very, very lucky ones. And you shouldn't be basing your future on luck. Ever since then, I did get married. We did get into our home of our own. We did, over the course of several years, pay off that home because it was top priority to get out of debt. And now we are debt-free. And now we're at a position where, you know, maybe we could make investments again. And yet at the same time, we felt, why don't we help our family out of their struggles? Help them to get on their feet. Pay it forward that kind of way. That's much like what my lady and I have been discussing over the past few years, and I hope it's been a good decision for us. We both like to feel that what we do makes a difference. I keep thinking back to that time long ago. About 10 years it's been. Looking for the shortcuts, looking for the big score, wanting to feel like I can make it big and not have to worry about anything ever again. It's really not how life is supposed to be. Even if you lose everything, or at least it feels like you've lost everything, you can have a happy life again. And you can pull yourself out of that deep pit. Even if it feels like the last few years have been completely wasted. For nowadays, anything that comes up as far as investing goes, I think I'll stick with index funds. Something that I can put money into and not have to think about for years to come. No more buying and selling over the course of weeks or days. I hope that's a good lesson. I hope it's something that I'm going to stick with for the rest of my life, because I do not want to learn what it feels like to lose that much money ever again. And I hope that anyone who's listening to this can learn from that experience too. But Until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.